Alright, so my name is Michael.
I'm Ross.
I'm Harrison.
And the debate we're doing is political correctness versus speaking your mind or freedom of speech. I'm more lenient in the middle, but I can agree to both sides.
I'm more believing into speaking your mind and being able to have that freedom of speech.
I'm going to be arguing for using political correctness.
And before we get into mostly arguments, the basis of what I found for freedom of speech is, well, pretty much the First Amendment, which is skipping the part, most of it is prohibiting the exercise, therefore, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of people to assemble. So pretty much, Congress cannot take away any sort of right you have to say whatever you want, except for something that will cause chaos. Like, the most famous example is saying fire in a movie theater, because you're going to cause chaos and people are going to freak out. On the other side, you have political correctness, which the definition I got was the avoidance or often considered as taken to extremes of forms of expression or action that are perceived to exclude, marginalize, or insult groups of people who are either socially disadvantaged or discriminated against. Pretty much, political correctness is controlling what you say or thinking more about what you're saying before you actually say it, so you're not disrespecting others' emotions and their feelings and what their beliefs are in themselves.
Okay, so with the political correctness and relating that to freedom of speech, political correctness does not cause the government or anyone else to inhibit freedom of speech at all. Or can you provide me examples from that?
Could you clarify what you're saying?
So I don't think freedom of speech has to do with political correctness quite yet, just because I don't think there's been any laws that have inhibited free speech for the sake of political correctness.
My point that I want to get across is that I feel that political correctness is inhibiting this freedom of speech that we have, for the fact that if we say something that we feel free to say and it hurts somebody and it causes chaos, like we stated, it could lead to more than just an argument, and it could lead to silly encounters, if I might say that. And I feel that it's inhibiting what we say. It's making us fearful of what we say, which is making us feel like that is being taken from us.
Okay, so you're saying that...
What I'm trying to say is that I feel that political correctness is making us scared of what we want to say.
Yeah, and
Okay.
to what you said about chaos, it's not like there's kind of two parts of chaos. What you said and what I said. What I meant for chaos is like actual physical more chaos and more people running around, to what I said, fire in a movie theater or any crowded place. If that happens, people are going to freak out. They're going to go ballistic and all that. But if you just say something that's disrespectful to somebody, it'll cause chaos in more of a social level than a physical level. Yes, they might actually start fighting each other physically, but they're more going to start arguing with their mouths. Yeah, I know what you're saying. They're going to more argue with each other verbally, maybe get into an altercation physically, but a lot of it's going to be verbal arguments, which is kind of why...
And I feel that at the point, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I feel at the point that if you do speak your mind freely and someone is truly offended by it, they could take it up a notch, if I might say that, and they could actually bring it to more of a higher level and then cause more people to rally with them, which could cause chaos like riots and stuff like that. It could elevate them, which is...
So, let's go through and say you say something that is not politically correct, and it offends a few people. So, what about that situation do you not agree with? Is the people you've offended reacting to you in a way that would maybe make you scared to say something else about that subject?
It just makes me... I feel in that situation, I feel like it would make me think about what is actually free to say. That could be stated.
So, what about the person's right to say something in reaction? So I understand that people being offended and speaking out about it it's intimidating. So you may not want to speak out again, but at the same time, shouldn't they have the right to be intimidated? I mean, saying something controversial and getting a backlash about it, and then thinking that the backlash is unfair is almost inhibiting the peoples you've offended freedom of speech.
And I see what you're saying, but I feel the thing is, if you have the ability to say something to someone and it may hurt them, they have every ability to say what they want back from their point of view, if it's an opinion or if it's a fact, no matter what it is. But it's whenever they say that they're constantly being hurt and it's affecting their lives or something, just something along those lines, and then they take it to, that's not correct, you cannot say that.
So what you're saying more so is, it's not that people are trying to use it as like, you can't say that. Like, people are trying to use it as a way to limit what people can say. Like, you physically are not allowed to say that because it hurts me, affects my life, blah, 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 blah. And what you're trying to say is that it's the morally correct reason to do that. You shouldn't do this because it hurts people, and that it wouldn't be equal for one person who knows a lot more about another person to just say whatever they want that's morally rude and discriminating against them.